We're back now live from the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, the home of tonight's third and final presidential debate. Both candidates will take the stage tonight embroiled in controversy. Trump is facing multiple sexual assault allegations and is trailing Hillary Clinton in the polls. Clinton has been dealing with a fresh round of questions about her authenticity and trustworthiness after the hacking of her top campaign advisor's emails. We want to head inside the debate hall now, and our Norah O'Donnell, who's with John Dickerson, Bob Schieffer, and Gayle King. They'll be leading CBS News' primetime coverage starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Norah?
Hi, Elaine. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're all here early before this debate starts. Bob, I have to start with you because your comments after last week's debate went viral. I mean, you said it was like WrestleMania. It was disgraceful, I think is the word you used.
Yeah, and I meant it. Yeah, I'd never seen anything quite like that. I thought the whole thing was just embarrassing, and one hopes that we can kind of lift the level of discourse tonight. But, you know, from what I've heard over the past week, I see no evidence that the elevator is going to stop going down.
How can we lift the level of discourse when already Donald Trump says that he's bringing President Obama's half-brother, who he has no relationship with, who is an out-and-out Trump supporter? How does that lift the level of discourse? Already you're throwing down a gauntlet there just by his presence.
Yeah, he has no intention of lifting the level of discourse. He's going to change the level of discourse. We saw at the last debate, you know, we had some question going into it, not the hour before, because in the hour before he pulled off a stunt that nobody's ever done before. But the day before, people wondered which Donald Trump was going to show up, the one that was pursuing the strategy they'd had for the previous 6 weeks, where he was trying to build his coalition. Politics is about adding people to your coalition. And then he decided, roughly when the videotape came out, that there was no more addition, that he was just going to rile up his supporters, and he's been on that path ever since.
And that is the part that I don't understand about his strategy. I mean, if his strategy is to win, I saw nothing over the past 10 days where he was trying to broaden his support. He said nothing that would attract, it seems to me, women, married women, younger people. It was all a message aimed at his current constituency, basically old white guys.
And he's promising it old white guys.
Why are you laughing?
I just think that's funny. I see a lot of old white guys as we're walking around here. But you know, he promised Norah earlier today. He said bringing the half brothers just the appetizer. He has even more in store with surprises. I have no idea what that means. Do you?
Well,
who he's going to be bringing?
I mean, both campaigns have already announced who are going to be their guests.
Yes.
Though the guests we know, I'm sure there's some surprises still to come tonight. But one of the guests that he's bringing is a new woman who has just come forward accusing Bill Clinton of sexual assault many years ago. So, Bob, to your point, he's going to do a repeat of the debate, which is bringing another Bill Clinton accuser into the debate hall tonight.
And that, I think the strategy, to the extent that one is discernible, is that he's going to get his core supporters to a red-hot boil, to mix cooking metaphors, and then he's going to drive down the support of the Clinton. I mean, that's the only way this works, is that you so depress turnout for the other side that your core support becomes bigger. It's a 1,000-to-1 shot, but that's the only discernible strategy you could come to.
But if you look at the empirical evidence, and what we have now is some polling evidence that doesn't appear to be working. Our last CBS News poll shows that he's lost 7 points among Republicans. Among men, white men, which is the base of the Republican Party, he was up 11. Now he's only up 2. And Hillary Clinton has a 19-point lead among women.
So is he not trying to set up a strategy to win, or is he trying to set up some sort of a strategy to make an excuse for losing? Is that what's going on here? I mean, and if so, all this talk about these vast conspiracies, you know, I really felt good when they finally came out and said it's all the fault of the news media. Yeah. It's always our fault, you know?
Always.
But this is the first time that I can recall we've been in league or in some sort of conspiracy with the big international banks. Now, that's a first.
But it's been interesting to hear him talking about elections being rigged. But Kellyanne Conway today, for the first time, said, no, she doesn't actually think the elections are rigged. So I thought that was an interesting departure from him.
You know, what happens is they depart. Kellyanne Conway will say something. His running mate will say, well, no, when we say rigged, we're talking about the media. And then Donald Trump says, no, actually, we're saying the vote itself is rigged. And And that's
But
what's so
isn't it
incendiary.
more important that in a number of these battleground states that will decide this election, Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, they're all run by Republican governors.
Yes.
And many of them have Republican secretaries of state who said, we don't expect the system to be rigged on election day. They expect a fair vote.
And that's what makes this so ridiculous. But the other part of it is, this is dangerous talk. The great strength of America is the way we have a peaceful transition of power. We elect people for a certain period of time. When their time is up, they leave, and the other person comes in. In so many countries, we don't have coups. We don't have people who refuse to leave office once their term is up. And when you start questioning the integrity of our vote and raising questions about the legitimacy of our elections, that's a real danger to America.
It's a danger because of the violence that can come from the people who think they've been robbed of the vote, but it also is an act of intimidation to keep people from turning out. If I'm living in one of these, as Donald Trump called them, communities that are supposed to be watched by his supporters, and then when he names the communities, it's all African American communities that he names, that is an act basically of intimidation.
We are here in Las Vegas, otherwise known as Sin City, and there's a phrase.
Little irony there.
Yeah, and there's a phrase, in poker, they call it a heads-up match, when you play poker just against one other person, and that usually then comes down to some skill. We know what the debate topics are going to be tonight. They're immigration, debt and entitlements, the Supreme Court, foreign hotspots.
And the best one, I think, tonight, fitness to be president.
They're going to be doing push-ups.
Fitness to be
something.
president. That's going to be interesting.
This is going to be the case where what happens in Vegas is not going
gonna
to
stay
stay
in
in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah.
It's going to spread
I've been
far
thinking
and
that
wide.
all
What about
day.
this? May we have the most substantive debate thus far?
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
short answer
it
is
depends.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, in part because Donald Trump has shown no interest or aptitude in the issues. I went back and reread the first two debates. I mean, he's an assertion candidate. Things will get better because I say so. There's no marshaling of evidence. There's no argumentation. That's because he doesn't need it. He has appealed and connected to the voters in a very, very strong way, but to his core. And if it is true, as it appears to be from the last week and a half, that his strategy is to stick with his core, then he doesn't need to have a campaign or a debate of substance. He could just assert, it'll be better, I'll beat ISIS, the economy will grow, immigration will be stopped. That's not a debate. It's just a series of assertions.
But he can't win without expanding his core. That's why I don't understand why
unless his job is to make Hillary Clinton so objectionable that people don't turn out, and it appears that that is the strategy that he's been employing, which is why he's bringing in these outside figures. It's why he's raising every possible scandal associated with the Clintons. It's why if he's going to win very ugly.
No, on the way over here, I was in the elevator with a guy coming down saying, "Hey, are you going to the debate?" He goes, "Nope. I'm going to go drink," because I've just had it with both sides. He said, for me, and I said, "Where are you from?" He's from California. He said, "For me, there are no good choices." And he said, "To be honest with you, I'm just sad. I just stay in a constant state of sadness, and I'm just going to go drink."
But people go and vote because they're voting for something, and that fellow.
He said he was going to vote, though. That's
well,
that
that's
was
good.
interesting.
I'm glad
he
to hear
did tell
that.
me he was going to go vote. Yeah.
But that's a way to depress the vote.
Yeah.
He's going to write in Johnny Walker. The thing I think Hillary Clinton will see from her tonight, back to your point, Norah, about substance is, and to Bob's point, is give people something to vote for. Yeah. She's done the defining Donald Trump, and he's done a pretty good job of that himself for the last 2 weeks. And he's embracing the full Donald Trump. And so she's going to try and make the case, here's what you should vote for. I suspect we'll hear some, I'll help the country come together kind of talk from her. So I think she's going to go right to what Bob's talking about.
But up until this point, though, guys, doesn't it seem like a matter of voting against something as opposed to voting for someone?
Yeah.
And that's where we are, and that's what I think is so frightening for many people.
And that is the time when people are going to vote against something. That's when not many people turn out to vote, and that's the danger. Maybe that's what Donald Trump is doing. I think it's fair to say the larger the turnout, the better the chances that Hillary Clinton is going to win. The smaller the turnout, I think that would be Donald Trump's best chance.
Well, the hall is starting to fill up.
Yeah, Elaine, we're going to throw it back to you, but we'll just give you a sense of the room. We've seen Wayne Newton, of course, the famous Las Vegas Republican and entertainer, is here. Mike Pence.
Saw Mike Pence come in with a small army of people, heading to his seat with his wife.
So it's starting to fill up, but Elaine, we'll toss it back to you.
And we saw our friend Jerry Insorello and his daughter Helena. They're here too.
All right. Norah, thanks to you and your panel. I appreciate that look inside the debate hall.